Street. Visit the African American Museum website for more information. See you there.
Looking for a little dance hall, soca, reggae, and more? Well, tune in to The Caribbean Connection with Lloyd Cummings, Saturdays from 7 till 10 p.m. only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
We are the home of Progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hey there, family. Look at that. Look at that. That's the kind of day I'm having. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So for those of you who are simply listening and could not see, I'm over here doing all kinds of things that I should not be doing already. Okay, already. But you know, those things happen. Happy hump day to you. Happy Wednesday, June 26th. It is. Oh, do you believe it? I feel like June didn't even say hello. I feel like it did not. It really hasn't. But it's already leaving us. I don't know. Do you feel the same way? It just feels like it's just flying out of here. In any event, we've got so much to cover in tonight's episode. I'm excited about it all. You know how I am. I just love introducing you to new family members. And tonight is no different. So I'm going to start. I'm going to get into some things. I have something for you taken from the headlines. That's right. There's a Philadelphia pizza shop that was named as one of the best in the United States by the New York Times. Isn't that something? The article reads, actually, move over New York City. It looks like Philadelphia is home to one of the best slices in the country. San Lucas Pizza on South Bouvier Street has just made the New York Times list of the 22nd best pizza places in America. Isn't that something? The South Philly Pizzeria was opened in 2005. It reads that customers can order their traditional pizza pies, but the menu is also filled with new recipes inspired by Mexican cuisine. So how about that? How about that? Philly making the New York Times list. I love it. I love it. And this story here, now, you know I love our babies. You know I do. I talk about the babies all the time. But this story was a hug to my heart. The headline reads, baby cousin with cancer inspires girls to sew hospital gowns for sick kids across the United States and Africa. So the article reads, fighting brain cancer, little Giada Dema was lying in her pediatric hospital bed, her tiny body virtually swimming in a drab green hospital gown. Her cousin Juliana Dema remembers looking at the 1-year-old and thinking how sad the scene was. A small child awash in an ugly gown, several sizes too big for her. I thought to myself, why does she have to wear this? Why can't she wear something nicer? Juliana said. Inspired by that moment, Juliana Dema, 13, and her 11-year-old sister, Audrina, have sewn and donated more than 1,800 brightly colored, playfully patterned gowns to hospitalized children in 36 states. Y'all know I'm ready to cry. Y'all know me. You know I'm one big teardrop. They've even sent them to Uganda, with 3 other African nations set to get them in the fall. That is a hug to my heart. You hear me? Y'all, that's a hug to my heart. But I had to share that because that's just feels so good. Feels so good. So, family, today's Black History 365 moment. It's time for our Black History 365 moment. Lila Fenwick became the first African American to graduate from a prestigious legal institution. That's right. After attending Barnard College, Lila Fenwick graduated from Harvard Law School in 1956, becoming the first African American woman to graduate from the prestigious legal institution. She also later studied at the London School of Economics and worked at the United Nations. Family, that is today's Black History 365 moment. You already know what I'm going to say next, but you know I'm going to say it anyway. Let us know if you're joining us. You know we love the love any way you care to share it. But for those of you who are unaware, you can call us by dialing 215-634 8065, or you can call us toll free by dialing 1-866-361-0900, or you can post a message on our socials, and you know I'm going to do my absolute best to read it aloud. Yes, I am. I want to wish a happy birthday to all of our love lights who are celebrating. That's right, including our very own Scott Shepard of Big Scott Entertainment. You remember him from last week. And Carl Abbott. Happy birthday to you all. Happy birthday. And I'm sending condolences to the family and the loved ones of actor Bill Cobbs, who passed away at the age of 90. Yes. And you know this is coming. I am sending extra love and hugs to you. That's right. If your light is shining even the least bit dimly today, okay? Okay? Yes, I am. Because you need to know that your tribe and your village right here at Love and Life has got your back. We are here for you. Your support system is right here. You're not alone. Okay? All right. All right. So I want to share some things before. I know you're saying, Carol, I know. But we've got some other things to cover. Some of you know, but some of you don't know that our very own love bug, Tiffany Bacon, is hosting a new show. Tune in to Breaking Bread every Sunday, where Tiffany will broadcast from a different restaurant, eatery, or chef's kitchen, where delicious delights and curious conversations are on the menu. Special guests will join Tiffany for brunch, where the conversations will focus on culture, business, health and well-being, media, literature, and the arts. Family, break bread with us every Sunday from 11 a.m. until noon, right here on Word, Progressive Black Talk Media. I want to share with you that your vote matters now more than ever. Okay? Join Word Radio hosts Joanne Bell, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and James Peterson, along with Word contributor Niall Blass of the League of Women Voters, this Thursday, that is tomorrow, family, June 27th, for live coverage of the first 2024 presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Our special program starts with pre-debate coverage at 8:30. So that means Love and Life is going to end tomorrow at 8:30. This debate, the pre-debate coverage, will start at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow, followed by a simulcast of the debate with live commentary and post-debate analysis and reaction until 11 p.m. So be sure to watch our special coverage on Facebook and get involved in the comments with your reactions to what the candidates say. You can also listen live on the Word Radio app and watch live on Facebook, Twitch, and wordradio.com. Family, this is your word on democracy. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters. All right, family, let's get started. Ooh, I know you're saying you're ready. Nasir Butler is checking in. I see you, Nasir. He's sending peace and blessings to everybody. Malcolm, you know I was looking for that message. He shares that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy. Good evening to you, good sir. Willie Matthews, hey there, Willie. He is checking us out. He shares happy Wednesday, everybody, down there from South Carolina. Cheryl Brown is joining us. Hi there, love bug. She shares peace and blessings with everybody. And I just love it. Craig Williams is checking in. Hey there, Craig. Give the missus my love. And Shauna Lee. Hey there, Shauna. Shauna's checking us out as well. So, family, in this hour, I have two extraordinary women that I want you to meet. Yes, I do. They are sisters who are the hosts of the Body Wealth podcast. You're asking, what is that? Well, I'm about to tell you. It's a platform dedicated to highlighting the unique issues that Black women face when navigating the healthcare system. That's right. It's a girls' night tonight. It is. It is. Family, I welcome you to the conversation with none other than Brenda Barbour and Elaine Curry. Hello there, ladies.
Hi, Carol. Thanks for having us.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to Love and Life.
Thank you.
I was sharing, family, I was talking with Brenda and Elaine just briefly before we went live. And I was sharing with them that I'm so anxious to have this conversation. You know, there's so much that we read and that we see in the news every day about our rights as women as it pertains to healthcare and everything. I know that you all must have some very, very, very interesting conversations. So first, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us just a little bit about where you come, where you grew up and all of that good stuff.
Oh, Elaine, you want to go ahead?
I'll start. I am the older sister, so Brenda and I, we grew up mostly on the East Coast, but we moved around a lot. We moved. Our father's job took him to many different cities, so we never went to a school maybe more than 2 or 3 years. So that's, I think, one reason why she and I are so close, because we always knew we had each other, and we didn't know what else was going to be there. So that was our growing up, and then we both went off to college in different places, but remained very close with our family, and just, learned a lot from our parents. They were very community minded, and we tried to take that with us. And I don't know how much more detail you need for that.
Well, thank you for that. So there were just the two of you. There were no other siblings?
For the most part. We had an older sister who died when we were younger, but
I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you. So that's part of our story, and we've embraced that as well. But she died when I was 6 and Brenda was 5,
and she was 7. No, our sister was 7 when she died.
Okay.
So,
that has brought you closer too, even at because you were at such a young age.
Yes.
It brought us closer, and I think, at 5, it was like my first awareness that bad things could happen, that medically bad things, really bad things could happen. So
Absolutely. So here we are, and again, my condolences. Hello, Chloe. Chloe's saying hello to everyone.
Hi, Chloe.
All right. As I was sharing with you all, I love that you all talk about women's health care, because there's so much to talk about. Now, do I have the understanding that you have a different guest on each one of your episodes who talks about a different like a different topic?
Yeah, I mean, we're not doctors, right? And so our podcast is not medical advice. Our podcast is our tagline is real talk about our health, because we really believe, like, I've learned things that I'm doing differently in my healthcare journey, my health journey, from talking to girlfriends. And so in each episode, we're talking to one woman about an experience that was meaningful to her. And we've done like 24 episodes so far, Elaine. 24.
Yeah, and it's not always a disease. Sometimes it's a sickness or an illness. Sometimes it's a choice they made for their health about what they want to eat or what kind of physical activity works best for them. So it's a lot of different topics, and but it's personal stories. That's the key. Yeah. These are just personal stories that each woman is sharing on the podcast.
See, do you talk about mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, everything?
Yeah, because we do believe it's all related and it all affects our well-being, and that we want everyone to work towards being their healthiest self 100% all around. So that Absolutely. We touch on all of those topics.
From where did the inspiration come to start your podcast?
So actually, we thought we were going to create a book or a workbook or an app. So we knew we wanted to do something for the community. We knew we wanted it to be about Black women's health. I have had some medical challenges in my life that have given me a lot of experience navigating the U.S. healthcare system and seeing some unique challenges that we as Black women face. And so we were thinking, what could we do to contribute to this problem? And, we've all heard how Black women have some of the worst health outcomes in the U.S. of any community. And it's not just, of course, we hear a lot about maternal mortality and childbirth inequities, but it's also heart disease. It's also breast cancer. It's also lupus. There's so many conditions for which we have higher rates of death and worse outcomes. So we wanted to do something. And Elaine, why don't you tell how we came to making a podcast?
Well, we always refer to our young adult children in our decision making about these kind of things. And we spoke to my daughter-in-law, my daughter, Brenda's daughter, and our sons. And they're like, we love listening to you guys talk to each other. You guys are so, have such a great rapport. This really needs to be a podcast. We think people would really, and Brenda was a big podcast listener and I was not. But that sounded right to us. So we started to pursue that alley. And I think it's been the right choice. It has.
I agree.
I love podcasting. I love listening to podcasts.
Me too.
I really do. So I cannot wait. Family, I'm sorry to say that I have not checked theirs out yet, but I'm going to do so. I am going to do so.
Our women in our community have so much wisdom. And I remember that just as a young child, and even as a young adult, listening to my mother and her friends and my aunties, how much those conversations really impacted my life positively and helped me to navigate. And even as I got older, my girlfriends. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would do without having those conversations with my friends. So we really wanted to amplify that so that a lot of people could benefit from that knowledge.
That makes so much sense to me because I can relate. I can identify with that point of view. Family, you always hear me. I'm always saying, well, my grandmother said, or my aunt said, or my mother told me, I say it all the time. I repeat things because quite honestly, it's always a morsel, a little pearl that's always been so instrumental in a big decision I've made that, that came from one of them. Yeah. And it was always something helpful. It was always something for my own good. So I overstand what you mean when you say that. I do want to share that one of our love lights, Stephanie, hi there. Stephanie Purnell, she shares greetings. Well, greetings to you too, beautiful. She says, I hope you are all having a wonderful hump day. Well, thank you. We hope that you are too. Family, if you have just joined us, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick. right here on WURD. We are talking with sisters Brenda Barbour and Elaine Curry in this hour. They are the hosts, the co-hosts of Body Wealth Podcast. That's right. And they're telling us all about it. You know, I have a ton of questions. I know you have questions too. And you already know the phone lines are going to remain open as they always do. And you are also welcome to continue to comment on our socials. We're going to take a commercial break, but we are coming right back. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Tanya Pendleton, the host of Reality Check, airing Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Word Radio. Join me as I talk to newsmakers and noisemakers in politics, sports, entertainment, culture, and tech. We'll take deep dives into stories from Philadelphia and beyond. Tune in at 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday on Word Radio for your daily Reality Check.
Word Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey is brought to you by Comcast.
The temperature is going up, and that could mean your tech is getting hotter too. Here are some signs that your devices might be getting too hot. The device may actually become physically warm to the touch. Apps or other programs could start to freeze up. Basic functions can take longer than usual, or your laptop or smartphone shuts down unexpectedly. If you think your device is overheating, here's what you can do. Keep gadgets out of direct sunlight, especially in the car. Make sure your laptop fan isn't being blocked, and turn down the brightness on your smartphone or take the case off your device. This could also be your cue to take a little break for a while as well. And finally, make sure you're not resting any devices on your bare skin. You could actually get burned if your smartphone or laptop gets overheated. Keep your cool and stay safe this summer with your tech. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
Only 4% of universities in the U.S. are R1 research institutions, and Temple University is one of them. This means 100% of students have the opportunity to participate in hands-on learning and research with world-class faculty. With over 600 academic programs across 17 schools and colleges, Philadelphia's largest public university provides students with a rich variety of opportunities and propels graduates to succeed in their careers. Temple University. Schedule a campus tour today at admissions.temple.edu/visit.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Join RAIN in the fight against sexual violence and volunteer in your community. Log on to RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org, to learn how you can be the someone.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
In honor of Black Music Month, this is Trans Afro Express, a celebration of African, Caribbean, and African American music.
We've got to get the individualism again so we can get the music back. Everybody sounds alike. And that's terrible what's happening in the music business today. There's no variation of people now.
This is James Brown, a Barnwell, South Carolina born, Augusta, Georgia raised singer, band leader, godfather of soul, and master of funk, whose choreography was as electrifying as his music. While James Brown's roots were in gospel and blues, the functification of his sound influenced artists from around the world, including Fela Kuti, Mick Jagger, and Michael Jackson. His influence on hip-hop is unmatched. He remains one of the genre's most sampled artists. This Black Music Month, we celebrate the artists of the diaspora who influenced the world. This Black Music Month vignette was brought to you by PICO, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, Keystone First, and Ensemble Arts. For more information on the Trans Afro Express, join us for our live event on June 14th at World Cafe Live. After June 14th, check out the panel discussion on soundcloud.com/on WURD.
Join us for a late night house party on the Funky People Radio Show with DJ T. Alford. Get your fill of house music and all types of funky grooves. Saturday night at midnight only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love
Welcome back, family. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. If you have just joined us, we are so happy to have you here. Yes, we are. We are talking in this hour with sisters Brenda Barbour and Elaine Curry, who are both the hosts of the podcast Body Wealth. It's titled Body Wealth Podcast. How about that? It's a platform dedicated to highlighting the unique issues Black women face when navigating the healthcare system. So, first of all, kudos to the both of you, because I think it's so necessary right now. It's so necessary. When you were sharing before the commercial break about just basically about having a sister circle. And this is an extension of that sister circle, and I can most certainly appreciate that. So what would you say is your target audience?
Well, our primary audience is Black women. That's who we want to inspire to pursue their best health. But what we have heard, we have also hoped that medical professionals and doctors and maybe even people in medical school will listen so that they can see firsthand Black women's experiences. So maybe they'll start to think about their own unconscious biases. Maybe they'll think about what they can do differently to contribute to reducing the inequity in health outcomes. So again, we've designed this primarily for Black women, but we've heard from listeners whose husbands have written in and said, "Oh my gosh, this is so useful and interesting to me." The audience, the guests are Black women telling their stories. Their stories are useful to everyone.
Is there a specific age group?
We try to get it all from 23 to 87. That's our range right now. We're still looking for somebody in their 90s. The pool of Black women is diverse, and so we want that diversity represented in our guests as well.
Wow. So you were sharing that your guests have shared all kinds of things. Like what are some of the things that they've shared with you?
Oh gosh, we've had women talk about osteoporosis, which has been interesting because a lot of people think, oh, Black women don't get osteoporosis, but yes, we do. We've had people talk about anxiety, imposter syndrome, which is the real one, which I was aware of it, but I didn't know that so many people felt affected by that one. And that one really resonated with a lot of people. Brenda, what other topics can you think of?
A woman who had an undiagnosed brain tumor. She kept going to her doctor saying, "Oh, I'm having trouble hearing. And he said, "Oh, it's congestion," and gave her a prescription for decongestant. And it went 2, 3, 4 times that she went back. And finally she insisted and she said, "This is not congestion. I know what congestion feels like. I want to have a brain scan." And she had a brain tumor. And had she not insisted, we don't know what could have happened. She did end up losing all of her hearing on that side, which is too bad. And if it had been diagnosed earlier, she would not have. But she's alive and well because she insisted on getting that scan.
That's not the first time I've heard that from a Black woman that, how about this? Because family, I haven't shared with you, I was having a little tickle every time I go to the hospital. Now, whenever it is, I'm always treated like I'm a hypochondriac. Like there's nothing wrong. No, seriously. But so I can relate. I can identify. I went a few weeks ago. I said, I know my body. I know my body. And this doctor, she said to me, she said, "I went to the emergency room because I know my body and something was not right." And she said, "Oh, no, you're fine." I said, "I'm sorry. You don't understand what I'm saying. There is something wrong with my body." And I'm telling her specifically. And she said, "Oh, no, you'll be fine." That's what she said to me. That's what she said to me.
And that's
so I understand that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No.
That was one of the common themes we've heard from, so many different women who their pain or their symptoms were not taken seriously. And at least 3 of the women had undiagnosed conditions that they finally had to fight for. So the need to advocate for yourself, the need to find a doctor who listens to you, find a doctor who listens to you.
So we're hoping that women who listen to this podcast will at least feel emboldened to do some of these things that we, if we understand other people are going through these same issues, that knowing that it's okay to say, hey, I don't agree with you, and you might need to look at this again, or it's okay to change doctors if you don't feel like the doctor that you're seeing is responding appropriately to what you're presenting to them. And it's okay to do those things, and we should do those things.
We absolutely should. Family, I don't know if you will recall, but we had a love light come on. One of our family members who visited some time ago, and she shared, she had a cancer scare. She was told, excuse me, several times that there was nothing wrong with her, only to find out that she did have cancer. She actually had cancer. So yes, this is something that we must stay on top of. Excuse me, one moment.
Yeah.
I have this tickle, family, and when I tell you this tickle right now is insisting on showing up, and I'm fighting it.
Wow.
So I'm terribly sorry, excuse me. But I think I know the answer to this question I'm about to ask, but why do you both think it's so important for Black women to have like a supportive community?
Well, it's important for everybody, for sure.
Agreed.
Sometimes it feels like that our specific demographic is under attack in many ways, because not only because of the health outcomes, but because of the way that anytime any little gain is gotten, somebody is trying to take it away. I'm specifically referring to what's going on with the Fearless Fund right now, and in that, we want, if somebody wants to give some money to small Black women-owned businesses who only get 1% or less than 1% of the capital, people don't even want us to get that. So we feel like, we need to really support each other. We are generally, historically, and a lot of times by nature, many of us by nature, caregivers. We want to take care of other people. That's what we do. But if we don't take care of ourselves, nothing is going to work, because we cannot provide the help to other people that we want to, and we're not going to be there. Everybody's going to lose if we do not learn how to take care of ourselves and do the best that we can to advocate. And we're not in control of everything. We know that, but we have got to do the things that we can do. And we're just trying to help us all learn about the things that we can do to make it better for all of us.
And I ask that question because, excuse me again. I ask that question because, as we share, we talk about the healthcare system, and I'm just sharing my story. And you've had, individuals come on your podcast and talk about how they've either been ignored when they're sharing symptoms that they have, and how we're being told, oh, you're fine. Oh, you'll be all right. We're all being treated like we're hypochondriacs, like we really don't know our bodies. It is why it's important to me, and why I believe your podcast is so important, that we have these voices, that we talk to one another, because sometimes, you can say something out loud and it has a totally different effect when you hear it, or if you hear it come back to you, something that you're thinking or you're feeling. So that's why I was sharing with you all that I'm so kudos to you, for putting this in effect and creating a space where we as Black women can talk with one another about what's going on with our bodies, what is taking place, what's happening. And like you said, you're talking about everything. You're talking about our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health, our spiritual health. So thank you for that. I mean, we do all of that here because we've talked about these things here. When you talked about imposter syndrome, family, you'll recall we talked about that with Dr. Z. we have our mental health expert who comes on every Thursday, Dr. Z. And we talked about that, which, like you, Elaine, was something that I did not know was as, it was so widespread. I had no idea. No idea. So now, where can we find the podcast? At what time? What days? All of that good stuff.
So it's on Apple Podcast. It's on Spotify. All the pod apps. If you just search Body Wealth, you'll find it. We also have a YouTube channel, Body Wealth Sisters. So season 1 was audio, but season 2 we decided that people wanted to see our guests, so we did video. And so now all of our episodes are up on YouTube. And we also have a website, bodywealthsisters.com.
I love it. Wait, family. You know I'm behind tonight. Body Wealth Podcast. Body Wealth Sisters is your website?
Yes, bodywealthsisters.com. And we're on Instagram, Body Wealth Sisters, Facebook, Body Wealth Sisters, YouTube, Body Wealth Sisters.
I
So
love
all
it.
of those episodes are out there. They we just completed season 2 last week, but when we're in season, it's every Wednesday a new episode comes out. And season 3 will be starting this fall, but you got plenty of time to catch up on season 1 and season 2.
I love that. So every Wednesday, at what time do the episodes drop? What time do we look for the episodes?
Oh, we drop them at 8 in the morning, usually around 8 in the morning, because we just want them to be there. So when people wake up, they can ready on their commute. But that's what I love about asynchronous podcasting is that they're there whenever you're cooking dinner or going for a walk or working out, if you want, or commuting to work, it's there. You can listen to them all whenever you want.
That's the beauty of podcasting, isn't it? I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, for how long are your episodes? Do they average about the same amount of time, or?
They're about 30 minutes. They range between 30 and 40 for the most part. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I love this. Family. Hello. If you have just joined us, and hey, if you've been hanging out all along, you are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. For those of you who are saying, Carol, what is going on with you? I am over here battling a tickle, okay? And we are really fighting. I think it's this ginger. That's what I think it is. I think I have some ginger stuck in my throat right now. That's what I'm going to say it is, because I was drinking my tea and I had ginger in it. So I think I put too much ginger in it. So I'm sharing that in the event you hear me fighting over here, okay? But, and I like to share. I like to let you know what's going on. We are talking with Brenda Barbour and Elaine Curry, who are sisters. And they are sharing with us about their podcast, Body Wealth Podcast. They did share a moment ago their website, which is Body Wealth Sisters. And they shared that you can find every episode you can catch up on everything on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. Is that correct? Their YouTube channel. I love it. What can we find on your website?
Well, the episodes are on our website too. So if you want to just watch online, you can listen to the episodes on the website. There's a little bit about us. There's a little bit about the podcast. One of the things we do in every episode is we link to resources. So we had a woman talking about ADHD, and she talked about an ADHD book that she really liked and an ADHD podcast that she liked. So we put those resources in the show notes. We had a woman who had rheumatoid arthritis, another woman who had irritable bowel syndrome. So what we're doing is we're building up a resource library, and we're going to put that right now. Each resource is under the episode. So when you look at the ADHD episode, you can see the ADHD resources. But what we're going to do is now gather all of those resources into a resources page, and that should be launching next week, so that one-stop shopping for resources from every topic that we've ever had an episode on. And there's some powerful resources there because we've had so many interesting topics with these women talking to us.
Wow. You really have. I'm listening to you now. Wow. Family, we're going to take a short commercial break. Stay with us, though, because we are coming right back.
Are you now or have you ever wanted to be in the biz? The entertainment biz? The NAACP Hollywood Bureau is proud to present Be in the Biz, a one-day symposium sharing valuable information and access to the entertainment industry's top power brokers. Writers, directors, producers, and storytellers will learn about collaboration between creatives and media executives and more. Be in the Biz is coming to Philly Saturday, June 29th at 36 in Chestnut. For more info and to register, visit naacp.org and search Be in the Biz, and that's biz spelled B-I-Z.
Tune in this Saturday at 8 a.m. for Conversations with the Commissioners, hosted by Chairman Omar Sabir. Learn more about voting and how elections are run in Philadelphia by joining the conversation exclusively on Word Radio, Black Talk Media.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. June, what a lovely, lovely tune. It's almost that time to vote, so make a note. Tuesday, November the 5th. Coming our way. That's what I say. Now we're talking about two words. You've heard these before. Mothering and fathering. The definition is people who spread love. They don't give up. So when it comes to voting and they don't give up, they just keep on saying, we must vote. Yes, we must vote. Yes. Now, mothering and fathering is gentle, you see. They just keep on saying with a smile, vote, we must vote. Take a big old breath and say, we must vote. Tuesday, November the 5th, a serious time. This is Dr. Lucille Ijoy, Mothering.
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on wordradio.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media. Tune into Afro Unity Beats Sundays at 5 p.m. hosted by Brother Shamari, David Barnes, and Patrick Otsadu. Afro Unity Beats features contemporary Afrobeat melded with the traditional African, Caribbean, and Black-rooted musical forms from around the diaspora. Check out weekly artists from different parts of the diaspora discussing the latest sounds from their part of the world and the history of their musical origins. That's Afro Unity Beats every Sunday, except the fourth Sunday at 5 p.m. only on WURD. Progressive Black Talk Media. We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of Progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Brenda Barbour and Elaine Curry, and they are the hosts of Body Wealth Podcast, which is a platform dedicated to highlighting the unique issues that Black women face when navigating the healthcare system. I'm curious to know, how do you determine which guests, or how do you curate the guests for your show?
That is a good question. We initially, when we first started, of course, this is new for both of us. So we pulled heavily from our own personal networks and people that we knew had great stories and were great storytellers. But it has grown from there. We've had referrals from past guests. We've had referrals through LinkedIn and other social media. People have reached out to us, and so that's been helpful because we've been able to diversify our pool of guests. So they're not all just like us or people. So, which is very important to us, to be able to tell the stories of a wide variety of Black women. So,
so why Black women? Why not all women? Just curious to know.
Well, we love Black women. I mean, we are Black women. We are Black women.
I love us.
And I think we have some unique challenges. So, there's the quote that I love from Priya Parker, which is, if you design for everyone, you design for no one. So when we were designing the podcast, we designed it for Black women. It's beneficial to a lot of other people, but that's who we designed it for.
We'd love everyone to listen, everyone to take from it. And I mean, I think people can learn how to support us better, people. And other people can learn things about their own health for sure. But our focus is Black women.
No, listen, I appreciate that your focus is Black women. So don't not to say, and I was asking, just curious to know if what your consideration was specifically. But no, I think you're absolutely right. We do have issues that are, we have challenges that are specific to us, and it is, again, like I shared earlier, and like you both said, it's important to talk about those things, and it's important for us to talk about them amongst ourselves, so that we also know, this is real. This is a thing. This does exist, and this is happening not only to me, but it's happening to her and to her too. So again, kudos. And you were sharing that, I think that's important too about the takeaway, because I was going to ask you all what you wanted the takeaway to be. But that's important too, because you're educating the mass.
Which is interesting, because actually, and each episode at the end, we do a little takeaway portion, which is just a few minutes after the guests leave, where Brenda and I talk about sort of what we took away, what we learned, what we thought about differently after having the conversation with the guest, which I think a lot of people kind of find that part something they look forward to as well, because we have our own perspective on things. So
I'm sorry, Elaine, I didn't mean to talk over you.
You're fine.
They probably appreciate, your rapport, your candor, and your honesty. I'm sure they probably do. Brenda, you were. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because I was just going to add to that, because we really believe in the wisdom of our community. And so there was the woman who was on, who was a vegan, and she talked about how she'd seen her aunt or her mother, with a big bag of pills for the variety of things that ran in their family. She didn't want to have to take a big bag of pills. And this is what has served her in not having to take a lot of medicine for those conditions. I'm not a vegan. However, I've tried some things based on that conversation we had with her. I made the carrot dog that she recommended. It wasn't
carrot dog. Oh my goodness.
It's like a hot dog, but it's made out of carrots. It's complicated. I can send you the recipe. It actually tastes like a hot dog. It's the carrot. But
it tasted like a hot dog?
Yes. But the reason I share that story is because, we've heard so many people talking about generational wealth. Black folks want to have generational wealth, and we do want that, but it can't just be about the finances. The wealth that I really want to pass down to my children is having the ability and the knowledge and the courage and the support to pursue their best health. And so Elaine came up with the term body wealth, because that's the wealth that really matters.
I love that.
Right. And we want to reduce, just like we want to reduce the financial wealth gap, we need to reduce the health gap as well. We need to be as healthy as everybody else. So
we all need to be on one accord, because we've got a lot coming down the pipe as far as politics are concerned.
True.
So these conversations definitely need to take place. Do you both share your personal experiences, your personal body wealth challenges, I'll say, because that's like you shared, that's a full circle.
So we had an episode 0 before we started where, I had cancer 3 times in 5 years. And so I shared about that in that episode 0.
Okay.
But in the individual episodes, we really want the guest story to come alive. So we're mostly asking questions. We chat. It's an informal conversation.
Yeah.
But,
within the conversation, we may share something that, a personal experience, but we don't really focus on ourselves, but we really do want it to be, like we say, a chat on the front porch with a glass of wine or a glass, some coffee or whatever you want. It's really, a chat of friends, between friends, that's the feel that we aspire to have within the podcast.
I love that. I love that. I love the aesthetic. I love the visual that I have as you just described it. So I cannot wait to listen. Family, we are talking about Body Wealth Podcast. Actually, could either one of you please repeat where we can find out all the information about everything that you're doing, please?
Okay, the website is bodywealthsisters.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Body Wealth Sisters. Everything's Body Wealth Sisters or Body Wealth on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. Just Body Wealth. Just search Body Wealth, and you will find us.
And YouTube at Body Wealth Sisters.
I was always the one who didn't want to do video because I don't like to look at myself. But yes, we are there on YouTube.
And it's a good thing.
No, Elaine, I'm with you. I can't look at me. I cannot look at myself. It's the craziest thing. I know y'all.
These two beautiful Black women. Come on, that's an episode there. Why can't you two look at yourselves?
They listen. The family knows that someone will give me a compliment. I have the hardest time repeating it or saying it aloud. It's just I can't. But in any event,
are there. Those who enjoy that,
I can identify. So, family, once again, we are talking about Body Wealth Podcast. You can find it if you look on YouTube. You can go to their website, which is bodywealthsisters.com. Ladies, I have so enjoyed our conversation. I have so enjoyed it. I cannot wait to check out the podcast. I cannot wait.
This has been so fun. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
What? I'm glad you came. Before we started, family, I was telling them, I said, I'm so excited to talk with you ladies. I'm so glad that you came. And I was just anxious to just share with the family that, listen, we have a space. We have a spot. We have an area where we can go to talk. Just the girls.
And we welcome you to come reach out to us, especially if you have a story that you might want to share or that if you just want to listen.
Well, one thing I want to know, I know you're directing most of the information to Black women, but do you encourage conversations from the men as well?
Conversations, they won't be guests on our podcast.
Our men play a part. They play a part.
They play an important part.
And we love to hear from them. And
they can rate and review and participate in the social media conversations that we have.
Okay. All right. Well, I like it. Family. Once again, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We've been talking in this hour with sisters Brenda Barbour and Elaine Curry. They've been sharing with us about life, quite honestly, but specifically about their podcast, Body Wealth Podcast. I did share in the chat for those of you who are joining us on our socials, the website.
Oh, thank you.
And I did share the name of the podcast. The sisters did share that if you search for Body Wealth Sisters on IG, on YouTube, you will find them. You will find them. But you can also go to their website, bodywealthsisters.com. I see some of our love lights are continuing to check in. Norm, I saw you pop in. I think I did. And Malcolm shares, that was a great segment, ladies. So thank you for that. Look at that. See there? Look at that. I love it. That's what we do here at Love and Life. Family, it's time for us to take a commercial break. I didn't realize the hour goes by so quickly. But when we come back in the next hour, we have another extraordinary human being for you to meet. We do. So stay with us. We've got to let Brenda and Elaine go. But we're going to see you again soon because you'll come back to visit us soon, right?
For sure. For sure.
Thank you so much.
I hope you will. All right. Family, stay with us because we are coming right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed on Love and Life.
We are talking with Dr. Donna Nickel in this hour, but I think this generation relies on the internet, views and likes on these apps.
I share that same sentiment. It's probably part of the reason why I moved over to administration, but I'm not going to give up on these kids. And I integrated as much social media into my teaching as possible because I knew that's where they were. And so I would have them do digital projects. So how do you evaluate your sources on the internet? You know, that was a project. I even had them doing listening projects where they would listen to a podcast in class, and I realized they didn't know how to listen. So if you don't have a basic listening skill, how are you going to get the other learning skills of evaluation and analysis? It's really important for educators to figure out where they are and take them from that point, use the tools that the students are comfortable with, and then carry them along.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds from Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Did you hear the word around the community? Jefferson Health Plans is the new marketing name for Health Partners Plans. They are the same company and they are talking to you. Live from WURD on 96.1 FM and 900 AM every fourth Sunday of the month from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. Be sure to tune in to hear more about Jefferson Health Plans, their upcoming community events, and info to help improve your health and well-being. To learn more about Jefferson Health Plans, visit www.jeffersonhealthplans.com.
If you're worried about losing your health insurance through Medicaid, we have great news for you. New government regulations have expanded the Affordable Care Act. And now you may qualify to get health insurance for you and your family through the Affordable Care Act. Call now to learn if you qualify. We know the healthcare regulations regarding Medicaid, and we've helped thousands of people find quality, affordable health insurance. Plus, all our research is free to you. So call us. With just one call, we'll shop from hundreds of different insurance companies to find you the right affordable health insurance plan. So if you're worried about losing your Medicaid insurance, call right now. Speak with a licensed agent and find how you may qualify for a new health insurance plan.
800-275-7851. 800-275-7851. 800-275-7851. That's 800-275-7851. Paid for by the Health Insurance Hotline.
Join Word Radio as we celebrate Black Music Month with the African American Museum to experience rhythms of liberation from Juneteenth to beyond. This Saturday, June 29th from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. This free celebration of the Black experience will feature an evening of live entertainment with R&B and neo soul. There will be vendors, food, and drinks. Get your vocals ready to sing karaoke from hit artists like Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It, SWV, Music Soul Child, Jilly from Philly, and more. And I, Tiffany Bacon, will be holding down the WURD live broadcast from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. It's a throwback party with DJ Rock the Spot, so come dressed in your 90s or early 2000s best. And while you're there, grab a bite from the Jelly Kisses Lounge and shop locally sourced vendors by All Black Everything. It's all happening this Saturday at the African American Museum on the Plaza, 701 Arch Street. Visit the African American Museum website for more information. See you there.
Yep. You already know what time it is, man. It's your girl, POC. Turn your radios up.
Tune into our groundbreaking environmental justice program, Eco Word Magazine, hosted by POC, Fridays at 10 a.m. on WURD, 900 a.m. and 96.1 FM, Progressive Black Talk Media. Streaming online at wordradio.com, on social, and on the Word Radio app.
Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome back to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. Welcome to the top of the second hour. It is. All right. That hour went by so quickly. When I tell you, I was sitting here half of that hour fighting this little tickle that is annoying me tonight. What? I rebuke you. But it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to give it so much power. Craig, I see your comment. Craig shares he cannot wrap his head around a carrot dog. I know. I was thinking of what? But he shares, give me 100% beef and I'll wash it down with some lemon water. How about that? Wait now. What is lemon water, Craig? What is that? Family, y'all know you teach me something new every day. I can't say that I'm anxious to try a carrot dog, even though she shared it tastes like a hot dog. I think I'm going to pass on that. But Craig, what is lemon water? What is it? So, family, I was sharing with you that tonight is a girls' night. The fellas, you know, you are always welcome to the party. So I don't mean that to say that you are not welcome. I mean that to say it's a night that we're all going to be educated, but about the ladies. About the ladies. Fellas, you know, I take care of you too, though. But for an abbreviated amount of time in this hour, we have our next love light that you are going to meet. Her name is Alyson Northrup. She is the senior policy officer for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, which is a leading national philanthropy dedicated to taking bold leaps to transform health in our lifetime. And she's going to talk with us about some threats to women's health care. And I thought it was so fitting that we would have all of this tonight. You know, we've got a lot coming down the pipeline. I keep saying it as it pertains to politics, and I think I'm going to keep repeating that because it's so true. So these conversations are necessary. But I'm going to shut up right now, and I'm going to invite you to the conversation with Alyson Northrup. Hello there, beautiful. How are you?
Carol, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so looking forward to chatting.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for coming to join us.
Yes.
You know, everything that, first of all, the line of work that you do is so important. So I'm anxious for the education that you're about to give me, because I know there's some things that you're going to share that I do not know. But would you first start, since I know we have you just for a short period of time, if you could tell us just a little about you first.
Sure, I would love to. So I am, as you mentioned, a senior policy officer with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. I have a background in federal policy, so focused on legislative, administrative, judicial policy, cutting across issues, but with a specific focus on maternal and child health populations. And so advocating for evidence-based policy and investments in maternal and child health. And now at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, kind of branching out into all kinds of policy areas that touch moms, kids, families, all of us across the U.S.
So what does your job entail?
Oh man, my job is something different every day, but it is a lot of being a voice representing the foundation and our network of grantees across the country to government officials in Congress, in the Biden administration, and making sure that they are aware of the resources that our grantees are, the research that we support that's highly relevant to policy, and that we hope they will use to inform the policies that they're passing to support health for all in the U.S.
Oh my Lord. Just from what you sharing that, you saying that, it makes me ask, okay, so when do you sleep? Quite honestly, how? Because it sounds like just constant.
It's constant I could work forever, and I would burn out so fast. I am fortunate in that I have some people who keep me really grounded, namely 2 young kids.
Okay.
So that is a kind of a forcing mechanism to stop working, because when they get home, oh man, that's it. They want. I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and so the concept of, needing to focus on a laptop just doesn't. My 4-year-old wants to start typing, and it's not good.
You've got 3 jobs: 7-year-old, 5-year-old, you get and your actual job. So since I shared with our family members, we don't have you for very long.
Yeah.
I did share that you're going to talk with us about some threats to women's health care and like ongoing legal challenges. Could you?
That's right.
Yes. Could you break that down for us?
Yeah. June is a big month for judicial policy. So decisions that come out of the United States Supreme Court that can have really big impacts on people across the country. And there are a couple of cases that are coming out, the decisions this month, that directly impact bodily autonomy and abortion access. And so we've had one decision already that came out earlier this month related to an abortion drug called mifepristone. And that was a ruling that basically maintains access, maintains the status quo. It doesn't increase access to abortion, but allows people to continue to access a really critical medication that supports abortion access. And then there was some breaking news tonight on the second case that's related to abortion access in the United States. And there was a decision that was leaked, which is that does not happen typically in the Supreme Court. Now it's happened in the case that overturned Roe v. Wade 2 years ago. We just passed the anniversary of that decision. And now tonight, this afternoon, we had the leak of what we think may be the decision that comes out tomorrow or on Friday related to emergency abortion care in the state of Idaho that has implications across the country.
OMG. Okay, so there's a lot going on.
There's a lot happening. Yeah.
There's a lot. So, oh my goodness. When you're talking about these ongoing legal challenges, since everything is coming down the pipe, are there things that we can do as civilians, to make change?
Yeah, there is so much. There really is. The threats can feel overwhelming and kind of relentless, but there is so much that people are doing every day to fight for both reproductive health. And of course, we know that's inextricably linked to overall health, maternal health, and health equity. So the restrictions that we're facing hit the United States population differently, depending on your race, your ethnicity, and your geography, and your income. And so, there are efforts to really bolster abortion access, but reproductive health more broadly, reproductive justice in this country. And so some of the things that folks can do is, one, just on a personal level, is educate yourself about if you need an abortion. There are resources, and you have limitations in your state. There are resources like abortionfunds.org, where you can learn about how to access an abortion, funding, logistics, to support you in getting the care that you may need and deserve in a dignified and safe way. And of course, I'm coming at this topic from a policy perspective. And so there are ways to engage as a voter, as a person who has personal experience in facing adversity, facing barriers, and accessing the care that you need to get connected to folks engaged at policy at all levels.
Thank you so much for that. I'm curious to know, because you see it, from your viewpoint, how would you say that these ongoing legal challenges are affecting or impacting people of color and families in low-income communities?
The most, is the straight answer. The restrictions that have been around for decades on abortion access, on access to care, healthcare more broadly, on other supports to families, disproportionately impact those restrictions, disproportionately impact communities that are historically marginalized. So particularly Black people and low-income people. And of course, the intersections of those identities, then it's doubly or triply impactful to a person's ability to reach their full potential and their ability to thrive as individuals and as families. And that is not by chance, right? That's
Right.
built into our systems,
Design.
that's built into our policies, and it ultimately comes back to the racism that we have that exists in our society.
Indeed, indeed. Now, listen, this next question, I know you are not the oracle. I know you don't have the answer to all things, but when we talk about this and we recognize what is happening, what can we do? What do we do?
I think so. I, by nature, am an optimistic person. And so I try and focus on what's possible in my own sphere of influence. And so it can be, engaging with your elected officials. It can be telling your own stories. It can be protecting yourself too, right? So if you don't want to engage in those processes, it's maintaining your own well-being, right? Like I think that's step number one, is your own safety, and then where you have space to engage in where you have personal experience, sharing your story.
So let me ask you this. Is it your feeling or belief that things are going to get worse as it pertains to healthcare, and specifically and particularly for people of color, Black people and people of color?
I think it's going to be a back and forth for a long time. We know with these cases, these Supreme Court cases, in neither case is it a definitive win, I would say, for abortion access or reproductive health or reproductive justice. And so we'll continue to see these legal threats. That being said, we have proactive work happening at the federal level. Legislation like the Black Maternal Health Omnibus. You have efforts, really growing incredible movements of people of color, of folks connecting across identities to build power in communities. And there is so much hope and so much potential in that. I do think, we're at a time where we live in this hyper-partisan environment. And so it can be really difficult, but I think keeping our eye on the long-term transformative changes that we want to see while still trying to move the ball forward in the short term is where we can both keep our sanity and try and make real progress.
Alyson, I tell you, I worry about that, keeping our sanity, especially as it pertains to this, because I'm seeing, and I'm not even on social media a lot, but I'll tell you, I saw 2 stories within the past week. One was of a doctor that was on, she was on trial because she had given an abortion to, I believe it was a 10-year-old girl that had been raped, and the doctor was being charged. And then the other case was a man. He had gone on social media talking about his wife who had almost died because she was having complications, and they, needed to get an abortion. It was, of course, because of the ruling, she could not. So now they're facing some legal issues. So I am, my head is spinning. My head is spinning right now with all of the legislation that's coming, down the pipe, and with all of these policies. So I'm fearful about what's next. What's next. I do see, we do have a family member. Family, didn't I say I wasn't going to talk? I'm over here running my mouth. We have a family member on the lines. Wanda is calling in. Hi there, Wanda. Welcome to the conversation, and thank you for calling.
Thank you for taking my phone call. This is my first time calling on your show. I just got in the car. You're quite welcome. I'm listening to your guest. I hear all the things that she's saying. I did 20 years in the healthcare field. I think it was just 2 years ago, I went into the emergency room with one of my parents to deliver her baby because she wasn't being treated fairly. However, I also know the number one killer of Black people still remains abortion. And that is discouraging to me and alarming because when you look at the numbers, they are quite high. And I hear the cases that you're talking about, and they also are important to talk about so no one is put in that type of situation where their health might be at risk. We also have to look at the fact of how abortions impact the Black community, particularly the poor Black community, and even maybe the middle Black community versus the other communities. There's different things going on where if we look at the history of abortion and Margaret Singer, and why she came up with this and why it was created, and if we look at the history of the abortion clinics and where they were placed in our community, and then if we look at the numbers now, I started noticing something 2 years ago. We don't see as many young people, females walking around pregnant, which is a good thing. But also, I just don't see as many Black women being pregnant. I guess they're going after their career. They're, being more responsible. And so what I would like to hear is someone that's more on the conservative side and understand the numbers of abortion in our communities and what it means, and those are Black babies, is for when they're talking about safe abortions or emergency situations where you need abortion, or even talking about a woman's right, that they also talk about using the proper protection, how there are other alternatives so that you're not in a situation where you have to make that decision to have an abortion and or take a life however you see it. Because that is something that can really weigh heavy on a person. It can have complications, whereas something as simple as a condom won't have those types of complications. And so I just keep hearing these issues, abortions, and I don't hear safe sex. And it has like the 5th highest STD rate in the United States. So these are things to think about. Abortion isn't a birth control pill. And so when we're talking about this, we need to also talk about the other alternatives that are much more safer and humane than having an abortion.
That's a great point.
Thank you so very much. I hope that I added something to this conversation. I just got in the car. I want to be as respectful as possible. Everybody's opinion. And
Wanda, you absolutely did.
Thank you so much, because I've been there. Like I said, just a year and a half ago, I was helping a parent deliver a child because the hospital, the doctors were treating her so nasty because she was on assistance. I've seen both sides. And we don't get the care that we're supposed to. So many moving parts to that. Like a lot of times when we say we're in pain, nobody believes us because we're Black women. So there's so many moving
about that.
I would like, and I've had it happen to me. And other people have talked about it where it's almost cost us our lives because nobody's listening. But I don't hear, whenever they're pushing this abortion right, I don't hear anybody talking about safe, responsible sex, or there's a 20 other ways for contraceptions out there to use so that you're not having to take a beautiful, precious baby, from a womb. And I don't think if they went across America and made abortion illegal in every state, it's just my belief that a Black woman will never have a problem finding some place to get rid of a beautiful Black baby. Because it seems like, to me, from the history, it was sort of built just for us to help control our numbers. I look at people like Bill Gates and the stuff he's talking about, it really makes me think even deeper about this topic. And I think as Black people in America, with November coming up, we have a lot more pressing topics and issues other than abortion. Yes, we need help.
I'll say this though, Wanda, if I might interject for one moment. No, because your point is completely valid and your opinion is absolutely welcome. And we talk about everything here. So absolutely, absolutely. But we were in this conversation, we were just talking about it, concentrating on those circumstances where it had been necessary, not at all suggesting it as a form of birth control. Not at I would never.
I
would never.
And I don't know your desk well enough, but every time I hear the A word, I just never hear the other comments and
alternative.
And sort of right. That's all I'm saying. And it's too much too long, and people start believing this is the only solution or the only way to do things. And I'm like, no. Like when it's incest and it's rape and the mother's life is endangered, that's understandable.
No, you're right. You're right. Wanda, I would not interject if we did not have to go to commercial. But thank you so much. So much. Alyson, I have enjoyed our conversation. I know that we have a hard stop with you as well, but I so appreciate you coming to talk with us. I do hope that you will visit with us again. Will you do so?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
hope,
and I appreciated your caller's sentiment too. And it's just it's a valuable perspective. And ultimately, I think it's up to a person who has to carry a pregnancy to term. It's a lot. So I appreciate that too.
It's definitely a lot. I want to share with you, Eric shares, hello, Alyson, big welcome to the platform this evening. Your journey is not an easy one, but the rewards from your work you do are so fulfilling. Thank you and keep on keeping on. I wanted to share that with you. And again, say thank you. We welcome you. Have a great rest of your night. Family, we're going to take a commercial break, but I want to talk to you when we come back. So stay with us.
Make sure you check out Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton, Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on WURD, 900 AM and 96.1 FM. Progressive Black Talk Media. Streaming online at wordradio.com, on social, and on the Word Radio app.
Is your child stuck in a school that doesn't meet their needs? What if you had $10,000 to send them to the school of your choice? It's possible. Lawmakers are considering a program to offer kids a free scholarship to better, safer schools. If enacted, your children could each qualify for up to $10,000. But lawmakers must hear that parents like you need these scholarships. Visit LifelineScholarships.com to learn more and secure your child's future. Paid for by Commonwealth Foundation.
June is LGBTQIA Pride Month. Pride Month began as a way to honor the 1969 uprising in Manhattan. On June 28, 1969, the NYPD raided the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in Greenwich Village. The officers forced the patrons out of the establishment and onto the street. The gay community, frustrated from the sustained harassment by the police, sparked a 3-day riot. This incident was the tipping point for the gay liberation movement. This month, those who identify as LGBTQIA, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual, celebrate being who they are. Let's continue to create safe spaces for this community to work and to live. This Pride Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
Did you know that everyday conversations can help your children build math skills? Discovering numbers and shapes with your children in any language is a great way to make math fun. When you get excited about pointing and counting or comparing shapes, your child will love to learn math, and they are never too young to start. Visit talkingisteaching.org/resources/math for free videos, tips, and guides to transform everyday moments into magical moments for math.
Your vote matters now more than ever. Join Word Radio host Joanne Bell, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and James Peterson, along with Word contributor Niall Blass of the League of Women Voters, Thursday, June 27th, for live coverage of the first 2024 presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Our special program starts with pre-debate coverage at 8:30 p.m., followed by a simulcast of the debate with live commentary and post-debate analysis and reaction until 11 o'clock p.m. Make sure to watch our special coverage on Facebook and get involved in the comments with your reactions to what the candidates said. You can listen live on the Word Radio app and watch live on Facebook, Twitch, and wordradio.com. This is your Word on Democracy. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters.
Tune into Solutions with Amadi Braxton, Fridays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM. Progressive Black Talk Media. Streaming online at wordradio.com, on social, and on the Word Radio app.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking about a lot tonight. In the first hour, we were talking about a space for Black women to talk, to converse about health, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional health. And at the top of this hour, we were talking with Alyson Northrup about policy, about these laws, this legislation that is coming through the pipe, as it affects us, as it affects everybody. But, she also shared about ongoing legal challenges that are impacting people of color and families of low income communities. Listen, it's all a conversation that should remain and should continue. But I'm curious to know, because for those of you who just joined us, I shared in the first hour, I was saying that just a few weeks ago, now you all know I talk with you every day. I'm singing every weekend. You know how important, for me, my throat is the first place. But if anything is wrong on my body, it comes out in my throat. That's the first thing. I'll get a tickle. I'll get a little tickle, and I will know that something is coming. And depending on how that tickle presents, I typically know what to do. Well, I went to the emergency room. This is about a month ago. I went to the emergency room because my body was telling me something is wrong. Like there were just red flags. Like, okay, what's going on? I go to the emergency room and I had a female doctor. She was not a person of color, but she looked and she looked at me, and it was my opinion that she assessed just from looking at me that there was nothing wrong, because that was her approach to me. When she spoke with me, I was explaining what was going on, what I was feeling, what was happening. And if you did not hear me say it earlier, she said, "Oh, you'll be fine." That's what she said to me. So I said, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not sure that you understood what I just explained, or that you heard what I'm saying to you." And I shared with her, now you all know I'm typically traveling Thursday through Monday. I'm typically flying, and I'm here with you. And I shared with her, I said, my voice is everything for me. It is my lifeline. Like, it is my lifeline. And I said that to her. It is my lifeline. And this was before I had to do the White House engagement with Patti LaBelle. This was before that was coming up. And I said, okay, so, and I was trying to explain, but when I tell you, this woman looked at me and she had this half like little smile as if to say, okay, okay. This woman repeated to me, you'll be fine. It took everything in me. I was left to my own devices because I called another physician who said, well, I can see you in July. A specialist, I called a specialist, an ear, nose, and throat specialist, who said, oh, I can see you in July. I was saying, do you understand? Do y'all understand what is happening right now? This is my whole life. This is my whole life that we're talking about. And I couldn't get anyone to, no one to just understand what I was dealing with, what I was going through. So, I know this happens with, well, I don't know. I imagine this happens with everybody, but I know that it happens especially and particularly with Black women when we have an issue, any type of issue, we're typically told, oh, you're fine. You're fine. So I did ask this physician when I was at the hospital. I said, so, okay, so what is your suggestion? What do you suggest I do? Again, she said, you get some rest. You'll be, and so I was going hoarse. I was getting hoarse. And she said, you'll be fine in about 3-4 days or something like. I did not have 3 or 4 days. I did not have 3 or 4. So I did what I knew to do, which was come home and make my concoctions and that was what got me through. Which is why, I tell you, I'm sitting here, I'm drinking my ginger and honey and all of the things that I've done over the years. But your body takes time to heal. But I wanted a diagnosis. I wanted to know specifically what she saw or what was happening. So she said, well, I've tested you for the flu, for COVID, for strep throat. You don't have any of that. All of those tests were negative, so you're fine. What? So that was just it. And she sent me on my way. She said, I could write you a script for a steroid. That's what she said. And I was like, well, what? And y'all know, you hear me talk about not even wanting to take an aspirin. So I said, I can't, I'm not, She said, well, I'll write the script. If you want to fill it, that's, you can do that. But you're fine. You're fine. When I tell you, I was so frustrated. Which of course, adds to it, because when you start stressing, the body just, the body's not able to heal anyway when you're stressing. So I had to find calm. That's what I had to do. I had to find calm. I had to come home, make my concoctions, and find calm so that my body could begin to heal. Crazy, just crazy. But I'm sharing that with you because we were talking tonight about healthcare. We're talking about this health system. We're talking about how we as women are treated. Now, men, I don't know. Do you have those same experiences? Does that happen to you? Because I don't want to sit here and say this only happens to Black women. I think I said that a moment ago. And I'm sorry, because I don't know that to be the truth. Let me correct myself. Men, does that happen to you? Does that also happen to you when you go to the doctor? You've heard so many of our family members who've spoken here in this space say, yeah, oh yeah, when I went to the hospital, they told me no. And I had to see 3-4 doctors before someone finally diagnosed what was actually going on with me or taking place. So men, do you have those same experiences? Because I'm telling you, whenever I go, they look at me like I'm crazy. They look at me like I am crazy. So tell me, talk with me. Let me know what kind of experiences you have. If yours are similar or different, call me. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call me toll free at 1-866 3610900. Yes, you know what? Thank you for that, Gary. Gary shares that the statement made by the female doctor was so dismissive and disrespectful. I agree. I agree. And that's how I felt. I felt dismissed and I felt disrespected. Yeah. And Malcolm, yes, my throat is my living. It's my living inside of word and outside of word. That's I, like, and I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain that. Well, I was explaining. She just wasn't hearing, and she just said, "No, you're okay. And that was exactly that's how she did it too. She said, "You're fine. You're okay. You're fine." With that little, that little chuckle. Um, I'm going to go to the phone lines. Gary is calling. Hey there, Gary. Thank you for calling and welcome to the conversation.
Yes, I was enjoying the conversation and what was being said. But I just wanted to add, we as men, black men, we go through the same thing when it comes to physicians. And as a matter of fact, I have a black dentist, and I just love him. I've had him for years. It's actually a husband and wife team. But a lot of times they're you can feel they're kind of dismissive when we tell them what's going on or how we feel. Sometimes they can be very dismissive. Now, I do have one black physician, a specialist I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give him his kudos. He's on top of everything.
Mm.
He'll suggest, well, say we run this test, we run that test, or do this or do that. And then he'll, his office will call and ask me how I'm doing.
Oh, wow. No, let me tell you how I would really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. He has an Indian assistant. It's a female. She's a young lady. And she's so attentive. When I get there, my appointment's over and I'm still talking.
See?
We're talking about family. We're talking about things that are happening. It's just a whole different atmosphere. And that's a rarity. So I'll say that.
Oh my goodness. No, that is truly a rarity. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one physician that I absolutely adored, and he ended his practice during COVID. So
Wow.
I have not been able to find, anyone of his caliber because he, like you said, like you shared this physician, he was my primary care physician, and his whole staff, like all of them, they all cared. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They asked when you came in, they ask you, so how have you been? They ask you, they were invested in your life, and that makes a difference.
Yes. The receptionist, everybody, when I come in there, all right, Mr. Bryant, have a good evening, or have a good weekend. I'm like, wow.
Yes, it makes a difference.
Yes, it does, Carol.
It makes a huge difference.
I just wanted to chime in.
No, I'm so glad you did. Thank you, because I'm, like I said, I know we as Black women, it's been like through history, it's been, this misconception that we can bear almost anything, and
Carol, you know why? Because of what they did to a lot of our women, Sarah Martin in particular. You know what I mean?
I do.
They experimented on you ladies with a lot of their procedures to be truthful.
They did. They did.
Yes,
they did. Absolutely did. They did. They did.
And thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay.
And I might need to know the name of your physician. Wait, I want some of that love, that healthcare love.
Yes.
It is horrible. But thank you, Gary. Thank you so much.
All right. Good evening.
You too. I see that our love lights are checking in. Joey shares, make them listen. Joey, I did my best. Joey Dixon, that is. So happy to have you join us. I did my best. I really did. But like I shared, I am searching for another primary care physician. And I'm looking for an ear, nose, and throat specialist of color, or an otolaryngologist of color. Because now I'll tell you this, I'll share something with you, something I don't think I've shared with anybody before. But years ago, I said, I've got this little click. When I swallow, I was hearing a click. I know you all are saying, Carol, you are crazy. No, I am not. I actually do. So I went to a specialist. Now, this was, like I said, eons ago. This was years ago. But I'm telling you this for a reason. I went to this doctor and he said I had a calcification He said it was in the oddest spot. And you see me keep pointing to this spot because whenever, like I was sharing with you, if I don't feel well, whatever is going on with my body, it clicks. I get this click. It'll let me know that something is coming or something, like something is a little off with my body. And and I like, when you say your body, you learn these things about your body, your body every time I talk about it. But I know when something is off, something is coming, or something is wrong. I know that it's coming from that click, but then it'll manifest. It'll present itself and it'll come out. I'll get the click first, but then it comes out. I know you're saying, Carol, what in heaven's name? But that's the truth. Our bodies are amazing. If you pay attention to your body will tell you everything you need to know. It absolutely will. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, I'm going to go to our socials because I see that you're commenting. I'm going to read your comments, and I still welcome your phone calls. I like to talk to you, so give me a call. But stay with us because we'll be right back.
Philadelphia homes are full of history, but some of that history may be hiding in the paint. Lead was used in paint for a long time, and it's dangerous for young children. Lead poisoning can cause serious health problems, but the good news is you can protect your family. Have your child's blood lead level checked and get your home tested for lead paint. Simple steps for a healthy future. Learn more at dli.pa.gov/lead testing.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
When I found out I had postpartum depression, I realized caring for my son starts with caring for me.
Mental health care is working for Simone. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz is still the best jazz on Friday nights with your hosts in the mix, Aquila and Jonathan Bay, every Friday night, 10 p.m. until 12 a.m. Only on 900 a.m. WURD, where we promote Black Talk Radio.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. As shared before the commercial break, I'm going to go to our socials and see what you are saying. Our love light, Joanne Kemp, she asks, did the doctor even do a throat culture? No, she did not. And I insisted. My throat was sore. It was so sore. And I was telling her, like I explained everything that was going on. And she did not. She could not have cared less about what was going on with my body or what I was sharing to her. She could not have cared less. Our love light, Miss Audrey, shares love and light to everyone. A few facts, unbeknownst to many, self included, postpartum care was the transition of care for mother and children implemented via midwives and to other family members, crowding, economic turmoil, shortened postpartum care in hospitals. Oh, wow. Thank you, Miss Audrey, for an education. Thank you. Miss Rosalind shares, hi there, Miss Rosalind. Thank you for joining us. These doctors today are just passing the buck when it comes to helping to maintain Black and brown people. Listen, I just had that experience. The woman, Ms. Joanne follows her comment up with sharing, well, we're supposed to be able to bear Herculean pain with no problem. I know. Just same thing Gary was sharing. It's just a shame. It's terrible. Craig Craig Williams shares, yes, sometimes men can get the dismissive treatment with doctors. It happened to him a couple of times. It amazes me, though, when you're in the medical profession and it is your job to hear us out, how you can become dismissive. How about this? I'm talking, this just brought to mind. So I was at a doctor's appointment with my my aunt. My aunt is 83 years of age. And I'm talking to the doctor, and I was sharing with him what was taking place, what's happening, what's going on. And he just started talking over me. He just started, and he went to say, I said, I'm sorry, excuse me, but you don't listen very well. Like, how dare he do that? He had asked a specific question about her, and I wanted to respond, and he just began talking over me. He disregarded what I was saying completely. Like that, y'all. I pray. I do. Y'all know I pray constantly. This healthcare issue, this healthcare problem that we have, oh, it has to be resolved. It has to be, and there has to be some care in the healthcare system. It really, oh my goodness. We have so little care in the healthcare system that it's frightening. It's frightening. It is frightening. And it's so sad. It's so sad. I promise you, we could talk about any issue under the umbrella of healthcare, and we would all say the same thing, that there needs to be more care. That there needs to be more care. Oh my goodness. Ms. Rosalind, I see, you are commenting. I couldn't catch up. But she does share, you know your body better than the doctor does, what you can take and what you cannot take. The body talks to you on all levels and is a temple. We're supposed to keep it clean. Yes, I'm telling you, my body does let me know. My body does. It really does. I listen to my body. I have been doing so for years, and it has not led me astray. It tells me, it lets me know, Carol, okay, you know, get on top of this, because you're going to be ill. You're going to be really ill in a minute if you don't pay some attention. And so, Nick, I'm curious to know, because I was talking to the men, so I'm coming to you. Do you have those, or have you had that experience with your doctor, where they don't hear you, they just don't hear you, or they don't listen?
Hey, Carol, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Hi, Nick. I'm so used to you being there. I didn't even say hi. That was so rude. Hi, Nick.
Oh, that's all right. Hey, your question is about the doctors and the medical industry as a whole and how it treats individuals, but Black people in particular. I'm probably the worst person to ask about this because I don't go to doctors. I haven't been to a doctor, and I don't even remember how long. No, wait, I did get a checkup recently. I think that was earlier this year. But typically I don't really go and see doctors, and it's kind of because I always think if I go and there's nothing wrong with me, I'm going to be paying all this money, to find out this and that, and as I'm fine. They're just going to tell me, hey, drink more water and lose weight. So I'm very like, I'm only going to go if there's like something really. If I break a finger or something, I'll definitely be at the hospital. But I as a young person who is healthy enough, I'll say, I'm not in tip-top shape. I'm healthy enough. I try and avoid hospitals as much as possible. I really do.
I'm over here. I don't know what's going on tonight. So sorry. You know what? And I hear you. I don't like going to doctors. You hear me say that all day, every day. I do not like going to doctors, but I will go in an extreme situation. I was sharing, I knew I had so much coming up that I needed it to be addressed. I needed to identify it,
Mm-hmm.
And I needed it to be addressed. But she was so dismissive, just so disrespectful.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not even, I hear stories about that all the time, and I'm not sure if everybody, I know people who work, I know at least 3 or 4 people who work in hospitals, one a doctor, the other 3 are nurses, and I understand how busy they are. I understand how, the workload is a lot, and those hours are crazy. I get it, but
yeah,
it's kind of difficult to do this, but I always think in that industry, anytime somebody talks to you about, hey, I think I have this concern and, I can't, I'm not dying, I'm not bleeding, right? I'm not missing fingers or anything like that. But I think that there's something wrong with me and I need you to take a look at me. I think it's irresponsible to be dismissive. There's been people who've gone into the emergency room and go, I got a slight headache. I'm not quite sure what that is. And they'll go, okay, well, just sit down over there. And then that person falls asleep and dies. And you could call that negligence, but they didn't know. But had they just, actually gone, okay, well, let's go run a test and see if everything's really all right with you, then that person would have still been alive. But again, the workload that they have is immense, and it's hard to discern, okay, well, which person is, just being dramatic and which person, we really need to take a look at them. And so I think, just cast a wide net and just take every claim that somebody comes to you with seriously.
Yes, I feel the same way. And I am not discounting. So, family, I'm not discounting in any way, the workload, the caseload that our medical professionals have. Not in any way am I doing that. I would, however, like to see just a little more patience, a little more care, if you will, and a lot less of the dismissive. That that hurt. When I tell you that hurt, I said, okay, so here I am again. I'm just left to my own vices. But okay. I'm going to share. Malcolm shares that so far he's been fortunate dealing with doctors at Jefferson. They even ask him to take surveys about his treatment. I love that. I love that, love that, love that. Well, you know what, Jefferson? I went to Jefferson years ago and they were excellent. I went because I have allergies. I think I've shared with you all in the past. I have some allergies, food allergies. And I had gone because my face had swollen, my eyes were swollen shut. My cousin had taken me because I could not see, and they thought that I had been abused. So Jefferson, so initially when I came in, I had sunglasses on and everything. I came in, and as soon as I took them off, the woman separated us. She put me in a room. When I tell you the care that they took, I will say that. I'm so sorry. I will say that because Jefferson, they kept me there all day, and they asked me. There were about 5 different medical health professionals that asked me throughout the day to repeat my story, to ask. They made sure they separated us. So my cousin, he snuck back and he said, "They're about to arrest me. They think I beat you up," And we laugh about it now, but the security came back and got him. And I will say this, they took such good care of me because they made sure, and the swelling started going down, and they asked me, they were trying to see if the story was different than what I was sharing. And they sent me, they contacted me about a week later, and they asked me about my care, how I felt that I was being treated, and if I had a comment, not limited to hospital staff. And I was so impressed with that because I was so impressed with the follow-up. So yes, Malcolm, about Jefferson. Yes. I'm going to take a call really, really quickly. Miss T is calling. Hi there. Thank you so much for calling.
I listen all the time. I have never called in, but you really hit the nail on the head. I have a friend that's a doctor, a brother. He said we don't know when we're getting not the best of care. We as blacks, we don't know that because there is a difference. Now, he's a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. And I've worked for several hospitals, the last being the VA hospital. I worked there 15 years. I loved that job. And those veterans oftentimes feel the same way. So when I would encounter them, I'm retired from there now, but when I would encounter them, I would tell them, look, I have a job with the VA, but I work for you guys. They loved it. Because when you're already in the hospital, you don't want to be there anyway. And then somebody's being dismissive. I can't stand that.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
want to let everybody know there is someone called, every hospital has it, the patient advocate. You can go there if you want to take it further. You can go to the patient advocate and let them know what's going on now. we don't know if they're going to try a cover up or whatever. But I understand what you're saying. I was at the doctor's office today, and I had to get another primary care doctor because my primary care doctor has taken another position as a director of the residency program. So a lot of these doctors you may have had for a while, they're going to other positions.
Right.
But I do not like this healthcare system now.
No.
And I was listening to you, and I was wishing I could have been there because I would have. Number one, I'm not quiet. And, I try not to be too overbearing. But if they're overbearing as far as being dismissive, that's when I say, excuse you. I did not finish saying, and you can't let these people intimidate you because they're a doctor, a nurse practitioner, or whatever. Everybody doesn't have that strength in them.
Agreed. No, I want to thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to thank you so much for that. So much for that. Because I felt so disrespected and dismissed in that moment. And I did not know there was a patient advocate on site, but I will definitely, I will put that in my pocket. But I thank you so much for that. And family, this conversation, thank you all, because it felt like a big hug to me. And I did need it because, listen, y'all know I speak softly, but I do carry a big stick. I will say that. Grandma always said that. You speak softly, but you carry a big stick. So, I make noise when I definitely have to do so. Family, here we are. I love you all. I'm just praising God from whom all blessings flow. Just thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you to our guests, to our callers. Happy birthday once again to all of our love lights, especially Scott Shepard, Carl Abbott, Craig King, L. Morris. Family, we're all in this together, so be good to you, but please be good to those around you. Malcolm, congratulations. I saw your post today on your follow-up visit. I meant to say that earlier. Congrats to you. Family, be careful and be kind. God loves you, and so do I. Have a great rest of your night, and be sure to join me Monday through Thursday from 7 until 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, family. I love you.